All right, well, welcome back. We are now on example number 4. I went through the first 3 videos, showed you how to solve trigonometric functions, equations, solving for x, using square roots, and using finding coterminal angles, and so on and so forth. And we're going to continue on that same path, but now we're going to get some more complicated ones, and these will involve factoring, a lot of algebra. And specifically this one and a few, my next 2 others, example 5 and 6, are all going to involve factoring quadratics. Yay! I know, I love quadratics too. Who doesn't? I don't know. I don't know. Just people that just don't like math, I guess. But in any case, so here we go. Let's solve this. So what we have is 2 sine squared of x minus sine of x minus 1. Now, do not be scared. This is sine squared. So if I write this out, this would be the same thing as 2, the quantity, sine of x squared minus sine of x minus 1 equals 0. Now, this is very, very similar to what I would say as 2y squared minus y minus 1 equals 0. And you might have had something like this back in the day in Algebra 1, maybe in Advanced Algebra, Algebra 2, maybe in Pre-Calculus. All right, you practice solving this. Now, to solve a problem like this, you can use the AC method. You can use a bunch of different methods. What we have right here is we're going to solve this by factoring. And so we're going to factor this. We have 2y. We're going to have some expression right here. We're going to have a y, and then we're going to have a plus. All right, and how is this going to be? Well, we're going to have this one right here, and it looks like we're going to have a positive and a negative one right there. Okay, so we're going to be able to factor that one. So we're going to have a y here. And what we have is we need to have a negative there. So we're probably going to have another y there, probably a negative 1 there, and probably a plus 1 right there. Just check this out. We have middle term is going to be y1, last term. Yep, and that's what we have. So 0. So what is y going to equal? Well, y should equal negative 1/2, and then y would equal 1. And that's what we do for solutions. Well, instead of using y, let's pretend, well, not pretend, let's just say y is sine, right? That's the same thing as sine. So basically we're doing a little bit of, we could use u substitution. In this case, I used y substitution. But yeah, we're essentially going to factor this out. We would have 2, all right, sine of x plus 1. If I would factor this just the way we had over here, all right, just pretend that the y's actually equal the sine of x. All right, we're just use a little substitution then, and we're going to multiply that by sine of x. All right, and that's going to be minus 1, and that's going to equal 0. So when is it going to equal 0? Well, this is going to equal 0 when, well, the first part is when sine of x equals negative 1/2. Right? When sine of x equals negative 1/2. Over here, this is going to be when y equals, or sine of x has to equal 1. So essentially, we find out what this will equal, all right, make this 0. So sine of x would have to equal 1. And over here, sine of x would have to equal negative 1/2. In order to make these 0, 0 times anything is 0. All right, maybe infinity or something. But, all right, what we have is just using algebra and solving this. Now, from here, now we're going to solve our expression. So just like in previous problems, all right, we have some basic common ratios. This is sine of negative 1/2. We don't have a restricted domain, so we're going to assume this is going to go from 0 to 360, and all the other values are coterminal to it. So if you have this one right here, sine y, 1 is this negative. I'm going to draw my little triangle. Sine is negative in the, all right, down below, when y is negative right here. So we have in the 3rd quadrant and the 4th quadrant. All right, and also 4th quadrant here. So I'm looking for this angle here, and also this angle going all the way around right there. Okay. Sine is, once again, sine is opposite, so this is negative 1 and 2, and it's going to be negative 1 and 2. And so we're looking at, this is a multiple or a reference angle of pi over 6. Pi over 6. So x is going to equal, all right, a multiple of pi over 6, which is 30 degrees. And the third one right here is going to be 7 pi over 6. And this other one is going to be, all right, going all the way around is going to be 11 pi over 6, right? 11 pi over 6 over whatever the multiple of 30, 330 degrees right here. And so now those are 2 solutions. But we're not done, because what are the coterminal? Coterminal. All right, so we're going to add 2 pi n. and we're going to add 2 pi n for that. And those are the two solutions when sine of x equals -1/2. Okay, so that's the first one right there. That's cool. All right, we don't need to change this at all because nothing's inside for x, and that's all we got. All right, over here now, what is sine of x equal to 1? Well, sine of y, what is y equal to 1? Well, y is only equal to 1, all right, if you call, all right, up here, on a unit circle, when you have 0, 1, that's the only time where sine is equal to 1. Or over here it's 0, all right, and pi is 0, and over here down at 3 pi over 2, that's going to be -1. So right there at 90 degrees, that's the only place we're going to have it. So right there, x is going to equal, all right, when we take the inverse sine, okay, and do that. I guess I didn't do that for the other one. We solve for x by taking the inverse sine on both sides, all right. So if we take this and just put the whole thing right there, take the inverse sine, inverse sine, just so you know what we're doing, of all this whole entire thing. So that's what we get. So we get x equals the inverse sine of -1/2. All right, and then right here, do the same thing. Take the inverse sine of this both sides. So we have x is going to equal the inverse sine of 1. And what is that going to equal? Well, that's going to equal pi over 2. And every coterminal angle of pi over 2. And that would be our other solution. All right, so we have 3 different solutions for this trigonometric equation. Awesome. And all the infinite solutions that are coterminal. All right, cool. I hope this makes sense. Once again, this is a quadratic form. When you see sine squared, pretend these are like a different variable. Don't necessarily use x, but use a u or a y, some other variable that's not being used. Plug that in there, solve it normally. When you get that, do a little substitution back in here, then just put sine of x or whatever it may be, equals that value, and the same thing over there. Then solve for x, find out what the solutions are. If they're nice and you don't use your calculator, that's awesome. But that's how we do it. All right, we're going to have 2 other videos on how to use factoring and quadratic form in my next 2 videos. All right, well, hope this helps you out, and good luck and God bless in the rest of your problems.